Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, The Researchers Roundtable. I'm Prakash Kumar, and I'm thrilled to be your host. I'm a full time postdoc at Durham University, UK. In this podcast series, we will interact and interview the most incredible researchers from all around the world. Last week, UK celebrated Postdoc Appreciation Week 2024 from 16th to 20th of September. Keeping this in mind, we are bringing to you some of the postdoc interviews and knowing better about their experience and journey to the science. In this first episode, we have a postdoc, Jawahar Singh from Sainsbury Laboratory, Cambridge University, UK.
Hi Prakash, thank you for having me here.
So, Jawahar, I will start our interview with this question. What inspired you to pursue a career in plant science?
Okay, so I'll take 2 minutes to going back to the background of how I came to the plant sciences. So when I was a child, we used to go to our villages during the summer seasons, summer vacation of the school. So I used to go to the fields in my village, and I used to see farmer applying a hell lot of fertilizer in the field of the cereals like wheat or rice. But when you see legumes field, farmer don't apply fertilizer. So I asked my uncles in the field that why the farmer in the wheat are applying fertilizer but not in the legumes like chickpea. So from there I come to know about the nodules, that the legumes form nodules, and these nodules are the house of the rhizobia, particular kind of the bacteria, and this rhizobia in the nodules fixes atmospheric nitrogen, and this nitrogen in the legumes root nodule are known as the nitrogen fertilizer. So legumes form their own nitrogen fertilizer in their nitrogen fertilizer factory, which is the nodule. So from there I got an inspiration to do some research in the legumes and to extrapolate this nodule biology, the nodule from the root of the legumes to the cereal crops like wheat and the rice, so that we don't have to apply this fertilizer in the cereal crops, and we can get rid of this dependency on the nitrogen fertilizer, and then we can have benefit of the legumes having the root nodulation. This was my whole motivation that bring me into the plant science, and now I'm trying to achieve those motivation here in the Sainsbury Laboratory, University of Cambridge.
Coming back to another question that I'm going to ask you, Jawahar. So, what was the most exciting thing about your PhD journey?
So I started my PhD back in 2016 from India. There is an institute known as National Institute of Plant Genome Research. In short, we say NIPGR. It is in New Delhi. It is just next to the JNU campus, Jawaharlal Nehru University, and we are an institute which was affiliated to the JNU. So there I worked on the chickpea, one of the major legume that is grown in India and widely consumed by all around people in India. So I worked on the chickpea nodulation. I was trying to find out the signaling molecule that is important for chickpea root nodulation, and I have identified some receptors and some signaling molecule which is important for the nodule formation in the chickpea, and if we knock out we will have a very less nodulation, and we can, if we overexpress, then we'll have the more nodules. So that was the work that I did back in India during my PhD days, that working on the chickpea nodulation. And why I did my PhD in the chickpea, because chickpea is important. We are the largest producer. If you talk about India is the largest producer of chickpea, but still India import a lot of chickpea from the outside. So there is a need to improve the chickpea production, and I was thinking that root nodulation in the chickpea, working on the root nodulation in the chickpea can be one of the way by which we can improve the nitrogen fixation in the chickpea, and we can reduce importing chickpea from outside of the country, and we can get more yield in the chickpea. This was the thing that I was doing back in India for my PhD.
So, you did your PhD, and if I'm not mistaken, in India we have a 4 to 6 years of PhD, which is quite a long time. So, what things matter according to you when choosing a PhD program?
Yeah, so you are right. In India, PhD is sometimes tough. So finding a good guide is the first step, and your institute should be well funded. If you have a good guide, good supervisor, PhD supervisor, then it is very good. And at, it depends on your luck whether you are going to have a good guide or not. So, and then the topic of interest, if you're getting a topic of research which is of your interest, then you are happy. You, if suppose you have a good guide and a good topic that you are interested in working for your PhD as well as after the PhD for the postdoc, and then starting your own career, then it is very good. It is like 100 out of 100 that you have a very good guide, you have a very good institute, and you have got the topic that you are looking to invest your whole life. So that is the perfect thing. But these are the perfect situation, but it doesn't happen all the time. You may get some guide which are very nasty that you never want to meet them again after your PhD. So you have to work out with
Yeah.
that. You have to be like you have to be very adjustable in that sense, and then you should have very good friends doing the PhD. The role of the friends are very important. If you have a good friends, then it can help you to boost your motivation, your energy. It can help you to survive. I would love to use the word survive.
Yeah.
PhD is all about
Survive.
surviving those
Yeah.
5 to 6 years. So having a good friend will certainly help you. So have a good friend. Try to make a good friend in your PhD time.
Johar, next I would love to know how did you maintain your work-life balance while you're doing your PhD?
Yeah. So this is also a very important question that I think all the newcomers who are coming to the PhD or the research should know. So when I started my PhD, I got into the running. I got into the marathon running. So I used to run. Suppose my lab was from 9:30 morning to 5:30 in the evening. So after 5:30, I used to come to the room. I used to get freshen up, and then I used to go to the JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University Stadium, where I used to spend like 1 hour to 1 hour and 30 minutes running, walking. So this was my a daily routine, spending time out of the lab in the nature in the evening time. It was very pleasant. So that was one of the things that I was doing throughout my PhD, that walking in the nature for 1.5 hours, and I ran lots of marathons. So this was the another thing that kept me motivated.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. So you finished your PhD in 2021 or 2?
22, yeah.
22. Then what was the next step? Because after PhD, we don't have any job.
Yeah.
For like, what was the struggle for getting a postdoc, and how frequently you got the opportunities to go for interview and all? Do you have any experience? Like it was a quick or it was a more struggle?
Yeah, so after finishing the PhD, getting a postdoc sometime gets tough. So what I had done, before, even before submitting my thesis, I started looking for the supervisors with whom I can work for my postdoc. So I submitted my thesis in December 2021 and done my viva in June 2022. But before submitting my thesis in 2021, I started looking for the positions for the researchers, for the professor with whom I can work. So I looked into the different labs all around the world, and then I found a professor in the Mexico, in the university named as UNAM, Autonomous National University of Mexico. There is a professor known as the Osvaldo Valdez Lopez. He's a Mexican guy, and he's a very good guy. I must recommend anyone working on the root nodulation to must talk. And if you are getting a chance to working with Osvaldo, go ahead and go work with him. You will get a very good experience as a scientist and as well as a human being. He's a nice guy. So after finishing my PhD, I went to Mexico to do my root nodulation research on the another legume, that is common bean. Now common bean is another important legume for the Mexico. So I worked on the common bean root nodulation in Mexico with Professor Osvaldo Valdez Lopez.
So Jawahar, what is your postdoc story for finally landing to Sainsbury Laboratory at Cambridge University?
Yeah, so after finishing my 1 year of research with Professor Osvaldo Valdez Lopez in Mexico, I was looking to use my knowledge of nodulation on the basic research what I have done in my PhD and the first postdoc. So I wanted to use this knowledge to create some transgenic which may have a higher nitrogen fixation ability. So I looked into a University of Cambridge website where we have the career page where you can see the different opportunities, the open positions. So I looked into the page and I found that the my current boss, Dr. Sebastian Sornak, is having a open position where he wanted to hire a postdoc who have experience on working on the nodulation. So I wrote to him, I applied him, and he was very happy and very excited to have me in the group. And now here I am in the Sainsbury Laboratory, University of Cambridge, working on the legumes, trying to improve the nitrogen fixation in the legumes.
So, Jawahar, how did you see yourself as a postdoc, and what kind of things you have learned from your colleagues during this period?
So, first thing I would like to agree with you that PhD is a kind of a training where we used to meet our supervisor, PhD supervisor regularly. We used to have some seniors who are going to help us in our research experiments, and we have a guide who is going to monitor us on a regular basis, we can say. But then the postdoc, the things change and change a lot. So the things I realized about the postdoc when I went to the Mexico, there I got a boss, my professor Osvaldo Valdez Lopez, and from there I learned that the PhD and the postdoc are quite different. So in the postdoc you are independent. So it is not the UK, but I'll say it is the Mexico where I learned the skills that you should have as a postdoc to be independent, and then I carried that skill back in UK. So I think that have helped me a lot. And you are right, it is like independent. You are just like your any other colleague, your supervisor is also a colleague. So you have to think independently and you have to go ahead independent with your research.
So, Jawahar, according to you, how do you explain the role of collaboration in scientific, area or in your research field? um, when you came to UK and back there in Mexico, but specifically regarding this project where you were working.
Yeah, collaboration is very important. Collaboration is a very important part of the research here. So I am a part of a bigger project known as the INSA. INSA is the research project led by Professor Giles Oldroyd, who is the current director of the Crop Science Center here in the University of Cambridge. So INSA stands for Enabling Nutrient Symbiosis for Agriculture. And in the INSA, we have around 50 great scientists working on the nitrogen fixation and the AM symbiosis. The goal is to improve the nutrient acquisition. So this project is all about the collaboration. So we are into a very collaborative research project where you can understand we have 7 to 8 different countries, and we are a member of 50 researchers working on the single goal, that is achieving the sustainability. We want to improve the crop by achieving the sustainable nutrient acquisition.
Wow. Yeah, that was the scientific, aspect to your career. If I come to close to your personal one, like how you maintain your life work balance, because you have a family, you are living in another country away from your hometown, India. So, how you see as a person, how you have developed yourself 10 years ago when you were in India, and now.
Yeah, so the first thing that I would like to say is when you come out of the India, you get closer to your friends and family. If you have some friend back in India, then you will try to talk with them on a regular basis over phone call or over WhatsApp call or whatever it may be. And suppose if you're married, then you will have your family here, your wife and your kids. Then the bonding between you and your friends and the family get closer. That is the first thing which I can relate as you say about this question. So I think the as we move away from your country, your bonding with the friends and the family gets stronger and stronger,
Yeah.
and that help you to sustain. Actually, that is very important.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. So next, I'm coming to the same point, like um, why the diversity of the people in a research institute or in any lab matters, and how that shapes our understanding the world better.
So, if we talk about the diversity, here in the Sainsbury Laboratory, University of Cambridge, we have a people from all around the world in our group, in our team. If we say we have people from UK, from Germany, from India, from France, and if you look in the institute SLC, you will find the people from Israel, from your Cyprus, from France, all around Mexico, Chile, Argentina. So it is a very very international environment in the SLCU, where you meet people from the different country, different cultural background, different personal background, and then you talk about the different things. So I think having a different perspective of on the same thing or on the different thing is very important for the personal growth. So I think coming to the SLCU and seeing this international environment was very very much motivating and something very new. As we when we are in the India, we are only surrounded by the Indian people, but when you go out, you see people from all around the world and living happily, working toward a single goal. So it is really fascinating.
So, Jawahar, what kind of advice would you like to give the new postdoc fellow who is looking career for in the science?
So for a postdoc, I'll say in a PhD you have done a good research. Now you're looking for a postdoc, and postdoc is the time duration where you will do a research, and then you look for a you are going to looking for a position, PI position, an independent group leader position. So the postdoc position should be very good. The boss should be very supportive, and the position should be such that you can get that strength and the publication and everything, so that you can apply for a PI position. Back in, suppose if you are from India, we are going to apply for a PI position in India, or if you are from another country, then you will try to move back to the same your original country of origin. So I think having a very good postdoc institute and a very good boss, as well as the research project, is very important.
Yeah, that I agree. So, Jawahar, I will again come to the very final question. What are your future goals, and where you look yourself in the future after this postdoc or maybe another postdoc?
Yeah, so the future goal, if I talk about the future goal, the first or the nearby goal for me is to improve the crop legume. I am working here on the soybean and the cowpea, two important, agronomically important crop legumes. I am trying to improve the nitrogen fixation by improving the nodule symbiosis. I want to have a higher protein content in the seed. So first, that is my first goal. That is having the higher protein content in the seed of the soybean and the cowpea, and then looking for the position back in India. So that is the ultimate goal. That is the final goal, that you should get some position back in India, and then you can start your own lab working on the nodulation. You can hire the young minds, and then together you can achieve the higher goal of having the final goal is to having the cereals which can have the nodules and the rhizobia, and you don't have to apply the nitrogen fertilizer. That is the final goal.
It seems like we are using a lot of pesticides, herbicides, sometimes chemical fertilizers, which is somehow disrupting our health, not only our health but soil's health also,
Yeah.
which you don't talk about. And nowadays, mostly people are thinking about organic food and all. So
Yeah.
this concept brings something which is like organic farming.
Yeah.
You are not applying a lot of chemicals, but you are still growing those crops, which has the impact in the society. Okay, so for Jawahar, thank you so much for coming to our podcast and being our guest and sharing your thoughts and experience, your wonderful journey from India to Mexico, Mexico to UK, and I'm looking forward for adventure findings from your work. So, Jawahar, thank you so much for coming to our podcast. Thank you. Hello, guys. So that was Jawahar Singh. He's a postdoc at Sainsbury Laboratory, Cambridge University. So I will see you in the next episode with a new person and a new story, a new journey from another postdoc. So stay tuned. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.